Hello and welcome to another Luck and Logic deck profile on TCG Buzz. Yeah, guys, Luck and Logic. It's such a great game. It's still pretty new, and I'm thoroughly hooked on it, and I'm really excited to see what happens with it as it evolves. So I'm going to show you guys my main deck that I play. We've shown off a mono green deck before on this channel. We've shown off a mono blue deck. Now it's time for my mono yellow deck. So it's a Tamaki deck, which it's a very slow deck. It takes a while to get up to full strength, typically not until like turn 4. But once it gets there, it hits hard. So let's go over that. First of all, I have nothing special in the gates. They're all just from the Rhine Logic trial deck. I know there are some better gates that I could run, but I'm kind of just too lazy to deal with that right now. Really working on making sure the deck itself is as best as it can be. So let's look at the cards. We're going to start with, what is that? Glistening Emperor Jewel Tamaki. I have 3 copies of this card. It's one of the best cards in the deck. It is a double rare, meaning it's not the easiest card to get, especially since it's kind of hard to get higher rarity stuff for Luck and Logic right now. It is a really, really good card. It gains power when it's being attacked, and its skill is ridiculous. So it's Logic Drive. You get to pay 3, of course, because it's always pay 3. Choose 2 of your members, and they get plus 2,000 power. If you have 10 or more TransUnions in your drop zone, they get plus 7,000 instead. So that's a boost of plus 14 for just paying 3 stock. That's crazy. And it's one of the cards that wins me games. Next, shininess. I have 2 copies of, forgive me for this, Power of Bonds Tamaki. I've forgotten her name. She's actually a recent addition to the deck because I finally got my copies of her. I only have 2. I might bump her up in the future. The problem is level 4 spots for this deck are tight because there are a lot of really good. I have 1 SP, 1 double rare. So she has a Logic Drive almost said Counterblast. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Pay 3 stock and choose all of your Tamaki units, and they get plus 4,000 power. So a big power boost. Typically, it's only 3 or so units that are getting it, but still, that's like a boost of 12,000 because that also includes her. Then I have 1 copy of the trial deck, Tamaki. She's really, really good, and not my favorite, honestly, but I keep it in, mainly because it's a signed card. I was lucky enough to get the signed one. I know they're kind of worth a lot right now. Her Logic Drive lets her return something from the drop zone to your hand. She's not the greatest. I mean, I kind of wish she was a bit more interesting, but I like her. So then I have 2 copies of, Layered Resonance Tamaki. This card, if you have, 10 or more TransUnions in the drop zone, she gets plus 2,000 power. That's always nice, especially on a 3. Having a base power of 12,000 is really, really nice because, I mean, chances are you're going to have the 2 cards in her soul. And then she's got a pretty standard Logic Drive, so that's not very interesting. I really have her just for that power boost towards the end of the game. Next is one of the more interesting Tamakis. This card is one of the most common cards in the deck. It's pretty easy to get copies of this, yet it's actually one of the cards that does the most work in my deck. So when it's defending, I get to put the top card of my deck into the drop zone, which sets up my other cards, and it gets plus 2,000 power. Then if that card revealed was a tactic, which is rare, but it does happen, it's plus 3 instead, which is nice. And her Logic Drive gives her extra power on my opponent's turn. Then an interesting one. This card, I'll admit it, she sucks. This Tamaki is based off of, she gets extra skills when you play a specific paradox, but I don't really like it. It's really in there just as a placeholder for this card. This is a double rare, and I have, between me and Dalton, we've opened several boxes, and I've only pulled 1 copy of this card, and I need more of it because it is ridiculously good. So the big feature of this card that makes it good all of my Tamakis get plus 1,000 power, which, as you see with my grade 4, still getting used to some of that language. My level 4s, they get power boosts as well. So just everything on the field gets crazy power boosts. Next copy, we're down to the grade 2s. 2 copies of this one. It's another one of those cards that I lost what I was going to say. So when this card is, I don't really know how to explain like how good she is because I haven't really utilized it very well. But when this card is placed from drop zone or from deck to drop zone, I get to place it in my hand instead, which sometimes can be a big bonus. But to be perfectly honest, I've never actually done it. Maybe it's because I'm only running the 2 copies, but I keep them in there just in case. Seems like I draw them quite a lot, though. Okay, 2 copies of the next Tamaki. She's a revive card. You pay 3 for a Lodge Drive, put a level 4 or less TransUnion back into your hand from drop zone. Next Tamaki. Tamaki. There's lots of Tamaki. I like Tamaki, so that's why. This Tamaki, put a card from your deck into drop zone. When this member is defends, pay the cost. If you do, she gets 2,000. So she's at 9,000 when you call her to the field. You mobilize her via TransUnion, so you get 2 in the soul. She's at 9,000 plus that skill. She's always at 11 when defending. It's really a good skill to have. Her logic drive, not very interesting. Next, we're going to move on to the foreigners, and I am actually running 2 different foreigners in the deck. So I have 2 copies of musical performer Owanahime, and you know what? She's good. When this card destroys a gate, you put the top card of your deck into the drop zone. Not too special, but not bad. I like her. And with 5,000 power, and if you can get boosts onto her with my other cards, she can actually do some damage. Next we have incomplete talent Xiaolin. I hope that's how you pronounce it. I'm pretty sure it is Xiaolin. So rest this unit at the beginning of your... This card is one of the first cards in the game to receive an errata. It's meant to say rest this card at the beginning of either player's battle phase. If you do, all of your other units get plus 1,000. Very, very good for defense. I haven't really used her on my turn for offense because I, in most cases, rather just attack with her as well. But she does have her uses. And oh, look at that. I have 3 copies. I forgot about one. Whoops. She's really good for defense, which this deck plays very defensively, and I enjoy that. Then I have 2 copies of ALCA member Xiaolin. That's an anagram from, not anagram, an acronym from the anime. So she has a Vanguard ability, and she has an ability on call, you put 1 into the drop zone. And her Vanguard ability, when she's played, if there are 2 or less flipped over gates from your opponent, you get to move one of your opponent's units back a space, which can basically give you a free shot at one of their gates. It's fun. And then I have 2 copies of Girl That Likes Sweets, Xiaolin. I love some of these names, but sometimes they're a bit too long. This is probably a bit long, but whatever. She has a Covenant ability. When you mobilize a Tamaki, search your deck for a Tamaki, put it into your drop zone. That's a good setup, but I don't find myself using it too much. Now we're on to the Logicalists. They're, spoiler alert, all Tamaki. We have Skilled Writing Tamaki. When this card is defeated in battle, you may choose one of your opponent's territory 2 or higher units and rest it. This thing is so good. You're just like, oh, what? You're going to attack me with that level 4 TransUnion? Nope. Then we have another Tamaki. This one, when she loses a battle, I put the top card of the deck into drop zone. 3 copies. And this is a rare. This is In a Rush Tamaki. Oddly enough, I only have the 1 copy. I need more, and I want to put more in the deck. So it's a Covenant for Tamaki. with Xiaolin or Oanahime. And when you mobilize a TransUnion, she gets +2. Last member for the deck. This is Diligent Studying Tamaki. She has a really good skill. When she's defending, you mill one card from the top of your deck, she gets +3. Woohoo! She's actually a really good card at the beginning of games, and I really like that. Next, we have the Tactics. I have 2 copies of Defense Tactics Lecture. I love this card's art. It's just quite funny. This card, you pay 1 stock, and a yellow member in battle gets +5, but then if they're defending, they get an additional +5. So when you're defending and you're already getting defense boost after defense boost, and you play this, the only way your opponent can get through is if they use one of their paradoxes. And then I have 2 copies of Speak With My Fists. You pay a cost of 2 stock. You choose one of your units in battle, one of your members in battle. They get +2 aura, and then you get to choose a card from drop zone and place it into the battle zone and give them +1 limit, which being able to choose anything from the drop zone is really nice. And lastly, we have paradoxes. We have 4 copies here of Artistic Aquarium. Pretty standard. All your units get +1 aura. It's not that great, but it's there. And 4 copies of Arc Bolt on Stage. This card gives one of your units in battle +3 and then the +1 aura. So better, but still not very interesting. A lot of other decks run more interesting things that like rest cards in your level zone for abilities. I don't have any of those. Maybe I will in the future, but I don't right now. Well, that has been my Luck and Logic mono yellow deck profile. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to see us do more Luck and Logic content, let us know in the comments below. Leave us a like, subscribe to TCG Buzz if you haven't, and I will see you guys next time. See ya, bye.